Crit here to bring you our Kickstarter, Pickstarters Big and Small for the week of January 14th, 2019. Bezier has released a special Kickstarter for Suburbia. This is actually not just a new product, but a collector's edition of the original game. This game came out almost 7 years ago, one that we've played quite a bit. You can actually watch our playback, back when we did playbacks, and a how to play and a solo play for this video. So it's been around the block. If you didn't know and weren't inclined to watch our videos, Suburbia is a game where each of you will be pretty much building a suburb by getting different tiles, putting them together and get matching colors. And some things are good next to each other, some things are bad, like you sort of don't want to dump next to some residential areas. And you can do all these fun little combinations, and there's sort of a tile where you can buy from. The farther down the line, the cheaper they are, so maybe you wait to buy or buy early so your opponents don't get the pieces. And this new collection edition, not only does it come with all the previous expansions and promos, it also had a couple new things called the Nightlife. But it also has some really awesome components for fans of the game, such as tile boards actually have the inlets so you can the pieces sort of in them nicely. A scoreboard that doesn't zigzag, which is big for us. I know we had a couple times when we were getting confused about that. As well as a sort of light up player marker, which is just a cool thing. But as well as player boards and pieces that sort of fit everything in there, so it's just nicer looking and feeling. We always talk about how we like things that can hold the pieces in there, and how certain games like Terraforming Mars could definitely use something like that.
Yeah, the non-zigzagging scoreboard is definitely a highlight. The other thing I think is great that they added is little pieces that represent symbols on your tiles. So in previous games, there would be effects where on your turn you'd have to pretty much go around and say, who has an airport? How many people have airports?
Right. There's a couple of things that are like involving, I think, like skyscrapers, airports, diners.
Now they pop up. It's 3D, so you can easily tell. And like a new tower to hold all the tiles. Really cool stuff.
They've also got, you can choose your player color sets, and apparently certain color cities, like red, I think is like New York, so it comes with its own special tile or something like that. I don't know how that works and integrated in, but still that's pretty cool to have all these, like you have the Eiffel Tower or whatever. I think they hit France at this point. They've been going fast. You know, everyone's doing this. It is $99, but if you're not into Suburbia, I definitely highly suggest this. This is one game we've played a lot.
I think it's for the price, the upgraded components, and it comes with all the expansions.
And a new one.
I think it's definitely a very fair price. I think it's super cool and kind of want it.
And if you don't have all the expansions, it's probably good for you too, because it comes with everything and promos, which are probably hard to find. And at this point, maybe cost that much.
Right.
So even if you have the basis, it is probably something worth looking into. Like you said, it is $99, but you are getting all the things that you usually would buy extra from like Broken Token or something anyway, so probably worth your time.
From IDW Games, they've got a follow-up to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shadows from the Past game. It's actually two new games under the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures line, one called Change is Constant, the other is City Fall. They are actually two standalone products, but they can be mixed and matched with the base. You can change your characters up, your bosses, your enemies, however you like. This system, if you're not familiar, of course, based on Ninja Turtles. It's from designer Kevin Wilson. It's sort of a dungeon crawling, dice rolling combat game with miniatures where you're working around the board. The original was a one versus all game where one player controlled all the enemies. These new ones actually have a fully co-op mode, so you can just play as the different Ninja Turtles, Casey Jones, what have you, and not have to fight amongst yourselves. There's also a bunch of other cool packs along with it, including one that is Usagi Yojimbo, the rabbit samurai who occasionally crosses paths with the Ninja Turtles in the comics. These are storylines that are actually based on the IDW recent comics, as far as I know. So not any of the cartoons, but the comics themselves, which is cool. The original game is one that I had heard good things about, always wanted to try, never got the chance to. But this looks pretty cool. It is very expensive. For each of these two new sets, it's $125. That includes a ton of miniatures and some Kickstarter exclusives as well. And so if you want both of them, you're backing a tier for $250, which is a lot. And strangely, I don't know if it'll
discount
be...
for...
as far as I could tell,
Okay.
no. Maybe they probably throw on some extra stuff, but yeah. But also, I didn't see an add-on. Maybe they'll add it later in the Pledge Manager, but I didn't see for the original game, which I thought was kind of strange. But maybe they were like, this is so expensive already. We can't throw too much else in there. But it looks really cool. If you're a Ninja Turtles fan, you like that game, I think it's something you'll want to look at. But man, is it pricey.
The one thing I'd also want to check is if I don't remember the last one, but if they had exclusives there that you can get in this one, because sometimes they do that, which I think is nice. Because at the very least, if you miss that one, you can maybe get the exclusive from this one. I mean, I'm more of a fan of the full co-op versus the 1v all, mostly because I like 1v all in an RPG because the one is usually not against. It's more of they're the GM, they're leading it along.
Right.
When the 1v all, I feel like it becomes like that person will always be the one. A lot of the times when this lets everyone just play as the heroes.
Yeah, if you're playing Ninja Turtles, you want to like be with your buddies. You want to be Donnie and Raph.
And I mean, this is one of those series too where I think it's good they mix it all together because Turtles. When did they come out?
80s.
So they've been around the block for a long time.
Yeah.
And they've crossed over a lot of things. I would love it if they would be able to eventually, make deals because technically they've crossed paths with Batman, the Power Rangers. It'd be awesome if they could throw those guys in there.
Hey, IDW has those licenses.
Do they actually have the No.
Oh, you're right. It's Renegade. You're right. Maybe
because they crossed the Power Rangers on the show, not in the comics, I think.
Huh.
I don't know if they've crossed them in the comics. I know in the show they did.
Well, we know IDW did do Ghostbusters and Men in Black board games,
Right.
so clearly I bet they would want to if they could. Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see, maybe support the game, and if you want to see that kind of a thing, Ninja Turtles.
I hope you're hungry because our next one is Rival Restaurants from Gap Closer Games. In this game, you'll all be playing as chefs and you're trying to make your restaurant the best. What's cool about this is each chef is unique and has their own abilities, such as the meat lover in their video, which actually hasn't been unlocked yet. Pretty much can substitute an ingredient for meat because more meat is better, or the vegan who actually not only can use another vegetable, but can punish people for using meat. The restaurant will also have their own abilities, so you'll have to choose a unique restaurant and player, and as you score more points, they're going to get more abilities. But to do that, you're going to have to cook recipes. Each turn, you're going to go to different locations where you have time to buy ingredients and trade with other players. So it's not a simple just buy what you can get. You might not be able to get everything you want there, so you may have to look to the player to your left and be like, can I get your cheese? I will pay you or trade you for that. Then, of course, you will then try to cook the ingredients, and you'll also make garbage, so you'll have to keep track of that as well. And there are action cards. But it looks like this crazy fun game of bidding, and not bidding, but like buying, but also trying to trade. Negotiations, and making these fun restaurants. And the fact that the points in not only is the restaurants unique, but also your chefs, so you have a lot of different customizations. It all just looks so much fun. The only problem I could think with it is if I'm playing this, I'm just going to be like, now I want nachos.
We get easily influenced by games with food. It's true. Yeah, this sounds like a really funny concept.
It goes for $49, and from the components that I can see, it looks really good, as well as just a lot of fun gameplay and mixing matchups. So it seems like a great game for a great price. Just make sure you're full before you play.
Shadow Tactics is a new stealth combat game from Antler Games in which one player is the daimyo and the rest are ninjas trying to infiltrate their domain. The daimyo is going to have different guards on patrol, and on their turn they're going to get to move them in different ways and try to find the ninjas, while the ninjas are stealthily sneaking around. And the way that their turn works, it's actually a programming game, and they can discuss together, because they're working together, how they want to play their cards and in what order, because they share one track, and once they're all decided, then they flip their cards and see what happens. But of course the daimyo can hear everything they're saying, so they want to be vague about their plans because he can try to counter all of them. There's some really interesting stealth tidbits in there. The guards' bases actually show you where they can see and hear, so the ninjas know which angle to approach them from. There are bushes that the ninjas can hide in. Lots of interesting different techniques for that. As I said, I've never played the video game game for this. I don't know if you are familiar with it at all. No,
I did not know until you mentioned it just now.
Yeah, so that's cool, but it seems like the kind of thing like sort of an XCOM style stealth game is what it sounded like. Maybe it's not like that at all. I didn't look into it, but it sounded really fun. I love the idea of the sharing a programming track, and that's we've seen some really interesting ways of approaching stealth style gameplay lately, and I think that's neat.
The base thing, for me, I just love to see that actual, like, this is the wedge of where you can look.
Right.
Because I played a couple games where, like, are you looking at me? I'm not sure.
Right.
So, like, a nice, clear, like, it's a small thing, but it's a big thing, I feel.
Line of sight is tough. I like that there's, like, you can hide in the bushes and be safe, but I know there's, like, one card that if you are in the bushes, you get punished for it. They, like, can search them, so you kind of have to, it's like a risk-reward, like, you think they're going to look there or not.
It'd be fun, and now I just imagine, like, and we just lit that bush on fire.
Yeah, something like that could happen. So that sounds like your thing. It's $68, and it's called Shadow Tactics.
Next up, we actually have an accessory. These are dice towers from eRaptor. They're these really cool ones, though, that I thought I should show off. That, like, one of them is literally a raptor that you can close the mouth. You see the eye close and the dice come out. But they have a lot of cool varieties. One's like a Cthulhu one. One's like a weird space one. One's, I think, it looks like clear plastic. Like, it reminds me of like laser tag places and stuff. And they all look really cool and these fun things. They go for, obviously, depends on which one you buy. So price, I think 15 was like the base price. But like I said, a lot of really cool dice tower things for you to assemble. They have a lot of examples there you can check out. Obviously, the Raptor one is, I think, the one they're showing off, and probably the one I think is the coolest of the bunch. But whatever you probably play, obviously, if you have more of an RPG, sci-fi RPG, maybe get one of the two sci-fi ones. But it looked like a fun thing to get and take a look at.
Yeah, dice towers are a thing that I never really used that much, but...
well, we have your dice box.
That's true. We have a dice box, homemade, but maybe these are probably a little more professional looking. War of the Worlds, the new wave, is our last pick from Gray Fox Games. It is my third game of the show today based on a licensed existing property. Of course, from the H.G. Wells classic, War of the Worlds. This one takes place after that. It's a sequel where the aliens return, and this time they're in Scotland, because why not? That's a fun setting. This is actually a two-player, sort of asymmetrical deck-building game where one side is the aliens, one side is the humans, and you're each doing your own deck-building thing. You have your own lineup of cards that you're purchasing from as you play, and you're all working from a map together where you can add different units. Humans have civilians, they also have tanks and boats and things like that, and buildings. Aliens have cool alien devices and alien ships that they want to conquer with. They're trying to kill all the civilians, while the humans are just trying to do a certain amount of damage to the aliens overall before they can win. So it looked like a cool thing where it's a deck building game, but head-to-head, which I feel like you don't see a ton in deck building games, or if you do, it's like Star Realms, where it's pretty straightforward, just points. This actually has a map involved. You can move your units around, so there's some tactical nature involved in it, and it's a cool theme. I thought it looked like fun. It's something that I would want to try. It sort of reminded me of, in look and feel, tonally, kind of like even though probably not nearly as advanced, like a Twilight Struggle, like those kinds of, like more like a war game with kind of a deck building component to it.
Yeah, because it's not simply just playing cards. The humans, their goal is the damage, but technically they can never destroy an alien piece.
Right.
They more just keep poking at it until the aliens are like, okay, we get it, enough.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the humans start, have more stuff to start, whereas the aliens build up. So like late game, I imagine they're stronger.
It looked like the way it worked was also a lot of the cards have destroy effects, so you have to decide, is it worth me destroying this to get the extra damage or money buying power, because I could hurt myself in the end. Especially if the alien, because it's miniatures too. The aliens are moving around. Pretty much the humans are just throwing, the humans' goal is to throw enough things the aliens' way so they can't kill the people. Like tanks and stuff. They're really there for that, it looked like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like definitely interesting. It wasn't just simply deck building. You have to think, if I spread my pieces out, will that hurt the human, for example? If I move my alien units so they can't concentrate in one place, or vice versa somehow with the humans.
Yeah, so if you like War of the Worlds, you're looking for a two-player game, maybe check this one out. The New Wave, it goes for $39.
And, of course, we want to give a shout-out to Suro, Phoenix Rising. That came out as well. But the reason we didn't pick it is because we already made a Pickstarter preview video, which you can watch. We'll put a link down below. That was definitely a really cool game that we had a lot of fun with.
Yeah, we got to do actually a full playthrough of it at PAX Unplugged, so you can watch our full impressions and thoughts about that one. But briefly, it's a new tile-laying game. I believe it goes for $40, and we both liked it. So that tells you that. Let us know in the comments what you're backing. Are you going to spend all your money on Suburbia or Ninja Turtles?
Yeah.
There's a lot of big, expensive projects this week. Let us know. Otherwise, you can catch us on Twitter and Facebook, etc. Links below. But until our picks are kicked once again, or maybe the other way around, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Will.
And this was Kickstarter Pickstarter.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more board game content. Every little bit helps.
Please, we gotta eat.